Medulla oblongata can be divided into two parts: closed medulla and open medulla. Closed medulla. The central canal of the spinal cord passes upwards through the closed medulla. As it goes upwards, it acquires a dorsal position until it opens and disappears into the cavity of the fourth ventricle in the open medulla. Closed medulla can be divided into two levels: lower level, or closed medulla motor decussation, and upper level, or closed medulla sensory decussation. The main contents of the closed medulla are gracile and cognate nuclei. They are dorsally located, small in the lower level and large in the upper level. The reverse in case of gracile and cognate tracts. They are large in the lower level and small in the upper level. The axons of nerve cells of gracile and cognate nuclei cross to the opposite side in the upper level through the sensory decussation, to continue their ascent as the medial lemniscus. Spinal nucleus and the tract of trigeminal are laterally located. They are continuous downwards with the substantia gelatinosa and Lissauer's tract of the spinal cord. Two pyramids occupy the ventral part of the upper closed medulla. The fibers descend in the lower closed medulla, while most of the fibers cross to the opposite side through the motor decussation and continue their descent in the spinal cord as the crossed pyramidal tracts. Ascending sensory tracts, together with the descending pyramidal and extrapyramidal tracts, ascending sensory tracts present in the closed medulla are similar to the cervical region. There are dorsal and ventral spinocerebellar tract, lateral and ventral spinothalamic tract, spinotectal tract, and spino-olivary tract. Descending tracts are pyramidal tract, which is crossed in the lower part, and there are direct pyramidal fibers. In the upper part of the closed medulla, pyramidal fibers occupy a ventral position, and they are called pyramids. Extrapyramidal tracts arise from the brain stem. From the midbrain, there are rubrospinal tract and tectospinal tract. From the pons, vestibulospinal tract. From the medulla, olivospinal tract.
From the reticular formation of the brain stem, there is a reticulospinal tract. Sulcomarginal tract present in the spinal cord is continuous upwards in the medulla as the medial longitudinal bundle. New structures present in the medulla are: in the lower level, there are the detached anterior horns, while in the upper level, there are the origin of the vagus nerve.
Open medulla oblongata has no central canal, but the cavity of the fourth ventricle. Main structures present in open medulla. Medially located are the medial longitudinal bundle, medial tectospinal tract, and medial lemniscus. Laterally located are the inferior cerebellar peduncles and inferior vestibular nucleus. Ventrally located are the pyramids and arcuate nucleus. The central part contains spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve, reticular formation, accessory olivary nuclei, inferior, medial, and lateral groups. The deep origin of the lower four cranial nerves, hypoglossal, accessory, vagus, and glossopharyngeal nerves. Other structures present in the open medulla are spino-olivary tract, close to the inferior olivary nucleus, and olivocerebellar fibers connecting the inferior olivary nucleus with the cerebellum. There is also lateral and ventral spinothalamic tracts
and rubrospinal tract.
Pons is similar to medulla oblongata, divided into three levels: inferior or level of facial colliculus, middle or level of trigeminal nerve, superior or level of four lemnisci. Pons is made of tegmentum dorsal part and pes pontis ventral part. Tegmentum is the dorsal part of the pons and is the upward continuation of the medulla oblongata. The lower part of the pons is bounded dorsally by the cavity of the fourth ventricle. The upper part, the fourth ventricle, changes into closed cavity. The following structures are present in the tegmentum in all levels. In the middle line, there are medial longitudinal bundle, medial tectospinal tract, and medial lemniscus. Laterally, there are the reticular formation and extra-pyramidal tracts of the midbrain. Tegmentum of lower level of the pons contains, beside the usual structures present in all levels, there are centrally the deep origin of cranial nerves, vestibulocochlear, facial, abducens, and spinal nucleus and the tract of trigeminal nerve, together with the superior olivary nucleus and trapezoid body. Laterally, there are the inferior cerebellar peduncle and the vestibular nuclei. Dorsally, it is bounded by the cavity of the fourth ventricle. Tegmentum of the middle level of the pons, level of trigeminal nerve, contains, beside the usual structures present in all levels, there are centrally the deep origin of the trigeminal nerve and its nuclei, trapezoid body and lateral lemniscus, and spinal lemniscus. Laterally, there is the superior cerebellar peduncle. Dorsally, it is bounded by the closed cavity of the fourth ventricle. Tegmentum of the superior level of the pons, level of four lemnisci, contains, beside the usual structures present in all levels, there are centrally mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, trigeminal lemniscus, spinal lemniscus. Laterally, there are the superior cerebellar peduncle and the lateral lemniscus. Dorsally, it is bounded by the cavity of the fourth ventricle. Basis pontis, or ventral part of the pons, is similar in all levels, and it is made of the following structures: pontine nuclei, transverse pontine fibers, pyramidal tract bundles, middle cerebellar peduncle. The pontine nuclei receive the corticopontine fibers from the cerebral cortex. Their axons form the transverse pontine fibers, which cross to the opposite side, dividing the descending fibers of the pyramidal tract into separate bundles. The pontine fibers, after that, enter the middle cerebellar peduncle as the pontocerebellar fibers to the cerebellum.